Come in. Good morning. I'm here for my interview. I know who you are. Take a seat. Oh, I'm sorry. I was just trying to say I'm really excited to be here. And what in the world? What are you doing here and what is with this wig? Is that how your mother taught you to speak to elders? Don't worry about the hair either. This that new Indian Remy, alright? You wouldn't know nothing about that. I see you still looking extra comfortable. Where's the professor I'm supposed to be meeting with? Don't worry about him. That man still thinks we don't know his hair is fake. Hold up, but if his hair is fake, is his mustache fake too? Boy, you on the wrong side of the table to be asking questions, alright? You walking here all bright-eyed and bush-tailed and whatnot. You over here asking questions. No, I'm running this show and I ask the questions. What are you doing here and can you even afford to go to this school? Oh, they had told me outside that there might be like a fellowship or a scholarship. Boy, you still got fees, and by the look of that tie, you can't afford them. What about research? Well, I'm not really a huge fan of it, but I can get by. Get by. By the time you're halfway through, research gonna be coming out your pores. So let me stop you right there. Why you wanna get this degree in the first place? Someone told me that if I wanted a good job, I needed this degree. So you just believe everything somebody else tell you? Someone told you that robe was cute, that's why you're still wearing it. Oh, so you Mr. Funny Man now, huh? You know what? I'm tired of this. You talking about my robe like you can come in here with them fake Stacey Adams on. All right, chill out, bro. I'm just playing. Nah, bro, step outside. So Great Value Morpheus isn't that aggressive, but he does make a good point. Why should someone like you be applying to graduate school in the first place? Now that's a pretty loaded question, and I could spend several videos talking about this very topic, but I think it makes sense to break it down to simpler terms, so I came up with what I call the Before You Apply checklist. This should be a checklist that just covers a few things that you should maybe think about or consider before you actually submit your application. Also, if you didn't catch it, I did make a video not too long ago about the 5 misconceptions about graduate school, which I have linked in the info card right up there if you're on computer or mobile. Without further ado, let's get into the BYA checklist. So the first thing on the list is investment or debt. Your reason for going to grad school really revolves around the promise at the end. And that promise could be maybe a great job or you even being the first person in your family to get a master's or doctorate degree. And while this is great and we like to talk about passion and dreams, at the end of the day, it's really hard to keep that same rhetoric when you can't put food on the table. So you gotta ask yourself, will this degree help increase my earning potential, and how long will it take until I recoup the cost of me going to school? Remember, school isn't free, and depending on your program and level, it can cost you anywhere from a few $1,000s to over 6 figures. So you really need to sit down, crunch the numbers, and figure out, does this make sense for me financially? It's also important for you to realize that the cost of going to school isn't just the bill you get from accounts receivable, but it's also the money that you may have lost from not working. If you had a job before attending graduate school, you may find out in order for you to do well, you may have to quit that job, or you may have to quit the job just to attend your program in the first place. So it's important that you put that as part of your considerations. Make sure you subscribe, as I'm going to be dropping a video pretty soon where I talk about the complete financial picture of attending graduate school. But regardless of that, you need to make sure, is this really an investment for you, or is this just a really roundabout way of accruing debt? And believe me, there are much more fun ways of accruing debt. There are also more ways to make more money too. Second thing on the list, is this really your passion? Sometimes things sound a lot cooler in your head than they are in real life, and that can lead to a false sense of confidence. I always tell people that graduate school is like a gut check. Remember, in graduate school, the subject that you choose is what you're going to be spending your entire time on. So it's important that you are genuinely interested in it. For instance, I had a professor who scolded us one time because we didn't do any sort of independent reading before coming to class that week. And that's the expectation. You are expected to really enjoy the subject to the point where you do it on your own time without someone having to assign it to you. You need to want to spend time in it. It doesn't mean that you need to sleep, eat, and breathe the subject, but if you're going to go through all the trouble of getting an advanced degree in it, you at least need to have some personal interest in it. That would be like me saying I want to be a basketball player, applying for tryouts, but never stepping foot on a court before then. Anyone would question my passion at that point. So if you don't find yourself at least dabbling in the subject from time to time on your own before applying, I would advise you, don't even bother going to grad school for it. Is this a career field that's growing? My dad always told me education is your life meal ticket. But what happens when that ticket comes up void? We live in a world that's becoming more and more complex, and the impact of machines and AI can be felt in a lot of different industries. Also, more and more jobs are requiring that applicants have advanced degrees. So there may be a few reasons why you're even thinking about going back to school. But if you're going to do so, make sure you're going to a field that's actually growing and not shrinking. There's no point in you spending 2 to 6 years of your life working on a degree to enter a career field that's shrinking and not growing. Remember, education is your life meal ticket, but it's up to you to ensure that ticket stays valid for as long as possible. So make sure you do your research and see what the current job outlook is for that career, not just now, but well into the future. For those of you who are coming straight from undergrad or maybe changing careers, remember that when you finish your program, you're going to be competing against people who have a lot more experience than you. So if you're trying to enter a career field that's already saturated, shrinking, or being replaced by automation, then you may find it tough to find work after you finish the program. So you may have the shiny new degree, but you don't have any job prospects to show for it. So it's something else for you to consider. Will these letters get me to a better place in life? Happiness is a tricky thing. Oftentimes when people are applying to grad school, they're doing so because they think that this is going to help them get to their dream job. But before you apply, have you asked yourself, is this really my dream job? Have you talked to anybody who works in this field? Do you know what the work-life balance is going to end up being? Are you okay with the increased level of responsibility that comes with that higher position? Even though you may be passionate about it, it may seem like a career field that's growing, it may even seem like a good investment. When you start to ask some of the other ancillary questions, you may start to realize that this pathway just isn't worth your sanity and it isn't going to get you any closer to happiness. I've seen people who go to grad school because they enjoy learning, but there are a lot of different ways in which you can learn, so there's no reason for you to go back to school and pay all that money just to do that. I've also seen people who do it because they don't know what else to do. If you're one of those people, I would say stop, take a breath, and then find a career counselor or mentor near you who can help you figure out what your next move can be. Life after undergrad can be daunting, but there's no reason for you to stay in school just because you're scared. And I've also seen people who go to grad school because they like the accolades and the letters. And honestly, though the letters are nice, it's not really worth all the headache. If you really just want to stunt, just go buy an overpriced car and roll around in that. I'm kidding, by the way. Don't actually do that. But you do need to ask yourself, is this pathway going to get me to a place where I feel more fulfilled in life? Are you ready for the workload? If you're someone who's been out of school for a while, then you may have gotten used to not having to worry about taking exams or doing homework. These things can add a lot of stress to your life. If you're someone who dreaded doing this in undergrad, then grad school might not be for you. Remember that in grad school, you're required to do a lot more independent study. So things like study guides, review sessions, or practice problems are not necessarily going to be baked right into the course. So that means that you're going to have to figure out what topics are important, what's the best way for you to study, and what you need to review when tackling all these things. Also, you may find in your program that there are actually less exams and homework given than you're used to maybe from undergrad. But do realize that also means that each one of those things counts for more. So if you bomb that first exam, it may be a struggle for the rest of the semester. Now, fortunately, most programs do grade on a curve, and if you're really looking for it, if you're really out there trying and really trying to succeed, a lot of times you'll find someone who is there and willing to help you. Most programs are not actively trying to kick you out. They want you to succeed. They admitted you into their program. They think that you have the capability to finish it. So don't feel like, oh, if I bombed it, I'm just done. A lot of times that's not the case. You do have help, but at the same time, you have to put in the effort. Now, don't get me wrong. If you deserve to fail, you will fail, but they're not actively trying to kick you out. Whether you're anxious about going back to school or not doing well academically, remember that from the students to the faculty to the teachers, there are always going to be people who are willing to help you. The bigger question here is, are you mentally prepared for the grind of the coursework? You should also be mentally prepared for the end of this video. I hope this list was able to help you out before you submitted your grad school application. And if it did, make sure you drop a like down below. That way I know that you enjoyed this content. I'm Lumi, the Benchtop Gamer. I make amazing content just like this. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any new uploads. Thanks for watching this video, and I'm going to try to figure out whose wig this is.